From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the hourly news blast. LGBTQ Nation is reporting transphobic, self-described comedian Alex Stein mocked the elevated risk of suicide amongst the transgender community, calling trans people mentally ill, sexual perverts, while spewing hateful diatribe during a Texas Senate hearing on a transphobic bathroom bill. I actually like transgenders in the military, Stein said at the Wednesday hearing, because, first of all, transgenders are some of the meanest people on planet Earth, so they make a good soldier, don't you think? And then, second of all, transgenders love to do mass shootings. So, that's perfect for a military veteran. And then on top of that, the suicide rate is incredibly high among transgender people, so we could just use them. Like the Taliban has suicide bombers. Maybe you guys can actually, if you commit suicide, actually help us in the battlefield, so that would be good. That was by far the most disgusting thing I have ever had to utter as part of a newscast. I'm just putting that out there. That was by far the worst pile of garbage I have ever had to read in 900 newscasts. That was by far the worst. And I've had to read about Donald Trump. Stein, the right-wing host of the web show Prime Time with Alex Stein, parroted baseless and biased transphobic talking points that have been echoed numerous times by right-wing figures like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Representative Lauren Boebert, and former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. The truth is, the vast majority of mass shooters in the United States are cisgender white males, and that the higher level of suicidality among trans people is due to the vilification and mistreatment of trans people by idiots and morons like Alex Stein. There's an example of a Dunning-Krueger effect, just in case, Keith Olbermann is listening. Mental distress among trans people is largely encouraged by transphobic rhetoric like Stein's and his fellow right-wingers. Major medical and psychological associations note that trans identity isn't a mental illness. Stein spoke during a hearing for Senate Bill 7 legislation that would require individuals in public schools, prisons, women's shelters, and other government buildings to use facilities matching the sex listed on their birth certificates. Places that break the law would face $5,000 fines for a first offense and $25,000 fines for subsequent violations. Stein voiced his support for the bill, referring to trans women as gargoyles in a dress, sexual perverts, mentally ill, and accusing them of having autogynephilia, male sexual arousal at the thought of being a woman, and of getting satisfaction from going there and looking under a stall. Okay, this sounds like a guy with a lot of experience doing just that at, I don't know, bus stations, airports, harbors, the nearest nightclub. I mean, I can't imagine where Alex Stein does his stuff, but wherever that may be, ugh, gross. As he spoke, spectators in the gallery began booing in disapproval. He asserted his free speech rights and continued, "Oh, please don't." But he did. However, there's no truth to Stein's claims. There's no evidence linking states with trans-friendly bathroom laws to any increase in restroom assaults as a result. Right-wingers like Stein repeatedly claim that trans people are dangerous and mentally ill, especially to women and children, to justify violence and discrimination against them. It's unclear if the bill will become law, especially since Democrats in the Texas House have fled the state in order to uphold Republican gerrymandering efforts, thus stalling other bills from passing in the lower chamber as well. In a March 15th, 2022 video posted to his X account, Stein told a meeting of officials in Marin County, California, "My 9-year-old is openly gay and identifies as a lizard." He then said that monkey bars at a public park were non-inclusive and racist to a child that identifies as a lizard, Newsweek reported. He also said that if transgender former U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health, Admiral Rachel Levine, is referred to as a woman, people should also refer to his daughter as a lizard. This man is a moron. In June 2022, Stein joined a group of transphobic protesters who harassed parents and performers who attended a Family Pride Month drag event in Dallas. During the protest, he yelled, "They're going to groom a bunch of children in here." He also told counter-protesters that they were going to hell and told a black police officer outside the bar, you're not one of those down low brothers. Your dad probably dragged you to a lot of gay bars," Salon reported. After the protest, he appeared on conspiracy theorist Alex Jones's show InfoWars. There, he accused a drag queen of using a secret code word to indicate their interest in child pedophilia. He also agreed with Jones that public school teachers tend to be pedophiles since most normal people don't want to be around his kids who aren't their own, the publication added. I am just going to add, we just did a story yesterday. You can look this up over on our YouTube channel. And what you will find is that from January through March of 2025, we must have listed 7 different clergy members, all accused of either having child porn or molesting kids, and all of them were in Tarrant County, Texas. That's one county in one massive state. And I got to tell you, if that's happening in Tarrant County, it's happening in the other counties of Texas. And truthfully, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Alex Stein is a little diddler himself. But you know what? That's the News Blast for this hour. Tune in Saturday and Sunday morning beginning at 10 a.m. for a full day of specialty programs. At 10, we have American History Tellers, the Cold War. At 11, we have Stand With Pride, a weekly review of the news from this week as shared on social media, excluding Alex Stein. At 12 noon, Herbie Hancock plays jazz and funk for an hour in the Smokers Lounge just to get rid of the Alex Stein vibe. At 1, we have all the LGBTQ plus news from around the country on Gay USA this week with Ann Northrup and special guest host Chris Cooper. Andy Hum has the next couple of weeks off. And at 2, a full hour of history with the On Auschwitz podcast directly from the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Memorial Museum in Oświęcim, Poland. For now, we have the Mead-Delaria weather forecast right here on PEP Radio.